Walking into a modern home today, you'll hear a lot about smart upgrades. Smart thermostats, smart lighting, smart security systems, and now, smart electrical panels. On the surface, it sounds like the next logical step. A panel that lets you monitor your energy usage in real time, control circuits from your phone, automate load balancing, and even integrate with solar systems and backup batteries. But here's something you're not being told. A growing number of licensed electricians are quietly refusing to install these smart panels. Not because they're outdated or resistant to technology, but because they understand the long-term implications better than most consumers. So what's actually going on here? To understand the issue, you first need to understand what a traditional electrical panel is designed to do and why it has remained largely unchanged for decades. A standard breaker panel is simple, mechanical, and extremely reliable. It distributes electricity throughout your home and protects circuits using thermal magnetic breakers that trip automatically during overloads or short circuits. There are no software dependencies, no firmware, no internet connection. And that simplicity is not a limitation, it's a design advantage. Because of this, many traditional panels operate reliably for 30 to 50 years with minimal maintenance. When something does fail, the problem is usually localized and easy to fix. A breaker can be replaced in minutes using widely available parts. Now compare that to a smart panel. A smart panel introduces a digital control layer on top of that mechanical foundation. Instead of purely physical breakers, you now have electronically controlled switching, current sensors, communication modules, and embedded processors managing the system. This fundamentally changes the failure profile. Electricians often point out that in engineering, every additional layer of complexity increases the number of potential failure points. And smart panels add several layers at once. The first concern is reliability under real-world conditions. Electrical panels operate in environments that are not always ideal: temperature fluctuations, dust, electrical noise, and load variability. Traditional breakers are designed to tolerate these conditions with minimal sensitivity. Digital systems, however, are more sensitive by nature. A voltage fluctuation, electromagnetic interference, or internal software error can affect performance in ways that are harder to predict and diagnose. There have already been documented cases where smart panel systems required resets, firmware updates, or app reconnections to restore normal operation. From an electrician's perspective, that's a fundamental shift from deterministic hardware behavior to conditional, software-dependent behavior. The second concern is system dependency and control. Many smart panels rely on cloud-based platforms for full functionality. Energy monitoring dashboards, remote switching, automation rules, all of these often require an active connection to external servers. This introduces a dependency that traditional systems simply don't have. If a service outage occurs, or if the manufacturer discontinues support, the panel may lose key features. Even if core breaker functionality remains intact, the advanced capabilities, the main reason homeowners purchase the system, can degrade or disappear. Electricians are trained to think in terms of worst-case scenarios. And in this case, the worst-case scenario is not just a hardware failure, it's a loss of system support over time. The third issue is proprietary design. Unlike traditional panels that follow standardized formats, many smart panels use proprietary breakers, communication protocols, and internal architectures. This locks the homeowner into a single manufacturer's ecosystem. If that manufacturer raises prices, limits availability, or exits the market, the homeowner has limited alternatives. Electricians see this as a risk because it reduces flexibility. In traditional systems, parts are interchangeable across widely supported standards. In smart systems, replacement often means sourcing exact components, sometimes at significantly higher costs. The fourth concern is lifecycle mismatch. Electrical infrastructure is expected to last decades. Digital technology evolves on a much shorter cycle. Smartphones, apps, and connected devices often become outdated within 5 to 10 years. This creates a mismatch between the expected lifespan of the electrical system and the realistic lifespan of the digital components controlling it. Even if the hardware remains functional, software support may not. And without software support, many smart features lose their value. Electricians are already seeing similar patterns in other smart home technologies, devices that work perfectly at installation but gradually lose compatibility with newer systems. The question becomes, will smart panels follow the same trajectory? The fifth issue is troubleshooting complexity. In a traditional system, diagnosing a problem involves physical testing, checking voltage, continuity, and breaker status. With smart panels, troubleshooting may involve both electrical diagnostics and digital diagnostics. Is the issue caused by wiring? A failed sensor? A firmware bug? A network communication error? This dual-layer complexity increases the time required for diagnosis and repair. It also requires a different skill set, one that blends electrical expertise with an understanding of software systems. Not all electricians are trained or willing to take on that hybrid role. And that leads directly into the issue of liability. When electricians install equipment, they are responsible for ensuring it meets safety standards and functions correctly. With traditional panels, the variables are well understood. With smart panels, the presence of software introduces uncertainty. If a failure occurs due to a software malfunction or system bug, determining responsibility becomes more complicated. This uncertainty makes many professionals cautious, because from their perspective, they are being asked to install a system where part of its behavior is outside their control. Now, it's important to acknowledge that smart panels are not without benefits. They provide granular energy monitoring, which can help homeowners identify inefficiencies and reduce consumption. They integrate well with renewable energy systems, enabling more efficient use of solar power and battery storage. They can also offer load management features, automatically prioritizing critical circuits during outages. These are real advantages. But electricians tend to evaluate systems based on reliability, maintainability, and long-term performance, not just features. And in those categories, traditional systems still have a strong track record. Another factor influencing electrician hesitation is field experience. In many cases, professionals base their decisions not just on specifications, but on observed performance over time. Since smart panels are relatively new compared to traditional systems, there is limited long-term data available. Electricians prefer systems with proven reliability across decades, not just years. Until that track record exists, skepticism is expected. There's also the issue of cost justification. Smart panels often come at a significantly higher upfront cost compared to traditional panels. While they offer additional features, not all homeowners fully utilize them. Electricians sometimes question whether the added complexity and cost translate into proportional long-term value. In some cases, simpler solutions, like energy monitoring devices installed alongside traditional panels, can provide similar insights without replacing the entire system. So, what's the bottom line? Smart panels represent a technological evolution in residential electrical systems. They bring new capabilities, improved visibility, and integration with modern energy solutions. But they also introduce new risks related to software dependency, proprietary ecosystems, long-term support, and system complexity. For many electricians, the decision comes down to one principle. Electrical systems should be as reliable and predictable as possible. And until smart panels can demonstrate that same level of long-term reliability, many professionals will remain cautious. Not because they reject innovation, but because in their line of work, failure isn't just inconvenient. It's unacceptable.